Hey everyone, what's up? This is Simon from the Ionic Academy. In this quick win, we will implement an accordion that we previously did with Ionic 3 already in another quick win, but things have changed quite a bit, so the setup in our HTML, the styling we can apply. I've also learned a few things since then and responded to your questions below that quick win. So we will build a multi-level accordion that we can open, toggle. We will use a custom component for products. So a lot of interesting things. Let's do this. I've already created a blank new Ionic 4 application, currently using beta, I think 16. And the first thing we're gonna do is create a new component that we can then later reuse inside our view, because we will use it, I think, in 2 places or 3. And it's a good practice. So generate the new component inside the components folder, and then also generate another module file, because inside this module file we can then export our custom component, and that works a lot better than what the CLI is doing automatically. So I will also bring up Ionic Surf in the background. And I've also created a new file, information.json, in the assets folder. You can find all the information for this file in the Accordion quick win link below this video. Basically, we got an items array which contains 3 items, or 4 at the top level. And the items can have children, and those, for example, would be the products. But the items could also have as children another level of items which then contains children. So in that case we would have the different pizza types, traditional, bestseller, whatever, just some random information. Of course you can also use your use your own API if you already got the information. You just might need to tweak a few properties here and there, because we will use this setup for now. To load the information from that file, we're gonna have to import the HTTP client. I always type this wrong. HTTP client module from @Angular common HTTP in order to load the information from local JSON file. Also, what you see in here is that the product component we generated was automatically added. And this is something we don't want. So get rid of the import statement and remove it from the declarations, because we're gonna move over to our new shared components file. And in here we will put the product component to the declarations and also to an array of exports. And then we can later use this shared components module inside the module file of our page, somewhere inside of the imports array. So shared components module goes here, and now we can use the custom component in the home page. So we could use it like something app product, like this. Okay, so we wanted to create this custom component, so let's do this. A very simple component that just gets one input, and this will be the product. So product of the type any, no special typing today, and perhaps add the toast controller. So if you, come on, really? Why not today? Come on. I've been working with Ionic the whole day. It works fine. I open a new editor, nothing works. Whatever. Ionic, Angular, toast controller. There we go. And then a little async function, because all the modal, the toast, and all of this stuff is now an async operation. So we can say let toast equals await this dot toast creator create message, whatever, edit, oops, interesting character, edit to the card, and then whatever product.name. So each component got its own buy button, just for some dummy stuff. And because we're using await in async function, we can run the toast present immediately on the next line. So that's everything for the product component itself. Let me also bring in the actual view, because that's not the most interesting part of this tutorial. So one product inside our app will look like this. We got a column set up, size of 9, so we can have the little buy button at the right side. And on the left side, we will have the product name and also the product information. So really just a basic setup. And also, if you want to do it like this, add some CSS overriding some Ion item properties. This will give the product a lot cooler look. So, okay, one more thing. Interesting thing, perhaps maybe we can even see the error, so I can give you some information on that as well. Inside our product component, we're using Ionic components. So we're using Ion Col, Ion Row, and maybe if I'm lucky, we already get an error right now. But I think actually, because we're not yet using it, we don't get the error. Okay, so the error we will get is we're using Ionic components in the custom component, and the custom component actually doesn't know about Ionic. So what we need to do is we have to add the Ionic module in here, which will bring in the Ionic components to that custom component. So we will not get the error because we now did this fix, just for your information if you forget it. All right. I'm quite fast today. Need to make a bit progress on all the content. So inside the homepage, we will first of all load the information. We don't have a constructor in here. I don't know why. And then the functions are pretty easy, and they're mostly the same like we had in the version 3 of this tutorial. So we can toggle a section, which is basically the first level of our information, and we can toggle an item, which is the second level of our iteration. And therefore we always need some indices. So here we just need the top level, and here we need to open top level and the child inside, or actually find the child in the top level. But before we do this, we have to get our data using the HTTP client. It's interesting. Maybe the import works from, no, not Selenium. Yeah, now it's working. Okay. And we don't need anything else. So we can go ahead and simply make HTTP get on the local resource to load it, which should be in assets/information.json. And then we get the result back, and we can set our information to the items. Okay, so the JSON again looks like this, and we want this array. So to get the information here. You already asked on the version 3 how to automatically open the first level, and to do this, what we're gonna do is we will say the first item open equals true directly in the beginning. So this will not really open the item, just like it will not open because we toggle the properties here. It will be opened because we got the ngIf implementation in the view in a second. And if it's true, it will show. If it's false, it will not show. And in the beginning, everything is false, but this is now true, so it will be open. Okay, to toggle a section, we can use, again, the information and now use the index. So we will get the section on which we press, and we will set open to not open. So this will simply toggle the information. And for the next level inside the view, we can use children, child index, and then open more or less the same like before, just one additional level in there. Also, you asked before how to automatically close everything else. So let's add automatic close, and we will make this as a little feature toggle. So if automatic close is set, of course this automatic close, in that case we will do a little transformation here. And what we're going to do is we're going to filter all information, so item index, and for each of them we will check if the item index is unequal the current index, because that's the one we want to keep open, just like we did here. Or perhaps we should also add and this open, because if we close we don't need to toggle the others. Only if we need to open it, we want to close all others. So the result of this filter will give us all other items, and then we will call map on all of those items and set each of them to false. Okay, 3 lines to toggle everything else inside that view. Hopefully it's understandable. Actually, we don't need the item here, but anyway, let's keep it. Okay, so right now the app looks like we haven't done any work so far, which is normal because we haven't implemented our view, and now things get a little bit tricky. So let me bring in the easy part for now. Easy part in this tutorial means we got the Ion button at the top to automatically close or to toggle this feature with just little ngIf and different items. But inside the view, things are about to get a little bit more interesting. So as I said, we will have 3 levels. First level, Ion list, and then ng4, let item of information. And for all of them, we will also need the index, so we can access them later inside the toggle function. Let index, and then I will also add a few classes here and there. I will bring in some CSS later on, and then you can decide which looks better or which you would use. So for this list, we want to set lines to none. And also we don't need any detail errors on the accordion list because we're not really moving forward, we're just showing this accordion. And perhaps also no padding, and the Ion content padding also removed. Okay, so this is the first level, and this will wrap everything inside our view. So let's implement the first section headers. So those should be tappable, of course. And on click, we want to toggle the section, the function we implemented for our index. And this is now, again, a bit more tricky, because depending on if the section is open or closed, we want to use different CSS. So we're going to use ng class, and in here, no, the syntax is like this. So we will apply section active to this item if item is open, and we will basically only apply section if it's not open. So let me check my other things. Okay, looks good so far. So let's close this somewhere and close it, and then we got the Ion item, and let's just use Ion label and print out something so you can see what's going on. So let's just print the child.name for now, and it's loading. And of course we haven't implemented the CSS yet, so cannot read property name of undefined, seems legit. Child.name, no, it should be I think I'm too far already. It's of course item.name. So here you can already see our little feature toggle. Great work. So now we see the list: specials, pizza, drinks. Not really happening anything, but that's let's go somewhere where we can see our where's the JSON information? There it is. So we can see specials, pizza, drinks, and coupons. Okay, works great so far. We can see the top level, we can click it. We might want to add a little icon in there. So let me bring in an icon for the start slot, either forward or down, depending on the item. So this will now toggle a container below it. So this container ngIf is only open if the item actually has some children and also if the item is open. So let's just add something in here so we can see the most basic version of the accordion or the toggle in here. So you see the first is already open and we see the arrows. We can actually open all of them and we can close them, which works pretty great. But now we can only have one open because all the others will be automatically closed because of our great 3-line filter map function. Okay, great. So we got the first level of our toggle in place, or the accordion actually. And now things continue. Ion list again inside our container, and then ng4 let child of item.children. So we just use the sub array now, item.children, and we're gonna use the index again because we need the toggle section functionality. So lines none, and the class is now let's say child list. All right, so this is our second list. In here we will have another ion item, which now is not calling toggle section, but of course toggle item. So the second function, we're gonna use the index from above, and we're gonna use the child index we've created here. And ng class is now child active if child open. I think this should only be child in there. And also, maybe I will just leave it so we can see why I applied some changes. Let's make this add or close. And in here we will also use child, and there we go. So let's save and let's see how it looks now. The problem is not that we create this second level header for everything, and that's not correctly because this is already a product. In here it would be correctly, and in coupons we don't have anything. So the problem is that now the second level is treated just exactly like a product, and that's a problem. And we can fix this by saying we only want to display this header if the child has more children. So now those should only be displayed for the pizza section because specials directly contains products, coupons doesn't have anything. So you see specials empty, pizza still a 3, drinks empty, and also empty. So we're getting closer. And now we also need a way to display the actual items which are in the first or the third category on the first level. So therefore we can now use our custom app product component. We can pass in the data for the product so it can display all the price and the information. And also let's add this with an ng if this item has no more children. So now we're already displaying the first level of elements below specials, hopefully. So let's wait for the reload. Yeah, can't bind to product. How did we name it? Yeah, not product, of course. Okay, so small error, no problem for us. Okay, so now the first level here is displayed as a product item already. We can buy the special Ionic pizza, we can close it, and we can still see the second level here as little headers. But now we need to wait to open another list in there. So again, back to our list, and then another container more or less with ion list below the products here. And this ion list is now ng if child.children, so only if there are more children, and also if the child is also open, which we do with the toggle item functionality. The class in here is now product list, where the last level and lines none, and I think we forgot something there. All right, And in here, of course, we now only got products. For us, this is the last level. So this should be actually the ng4 directly on the element. So let product of child.children. I know, perhaps try to keep the information next to the screen. It's a bit confusing with all the levels, but we only got like the top level in item, then we got item children, and then we got the children of the child. So more or less just 3 levels. And of course then the product goes in here. So now we got a few closes. This closes the product container. This closes the child list. Then we got another div container. And finally, let's add ng if item.children.length is equal 0. And also the item is open. In that case, let's say, sorry, nothing in here. And also let's apply text center. All right, let's open it again. And maybe because we implemented the 3rd level, we should now be able to drill down into pizza, traditional, and there we go with the 3rd level of our information. And the view always behaves exactly like we want it to. So the size appends, we got the no information in there, we can add the items. And now perhaps let's try this again. So we can use our little feature toggle and everything else will be closed once we open a new category. All right, that's already pretty much everything, but I will now bring in some more CSS so you see what could be done. We will not go through everything, but we are basically applying a lot of CSS variables. We will use a different background color so we get a little highlights between the items. We'll use some margin here and there. We set the header height, different colors, and all of this is inside the quick win link below the video again. So if we refresh now for the last time, we should see a view that looks a lot like an accordion. So if everything is closed, we see like this with some margin between. And we can open it, we get a nice color animation in here. And also for the 2nd level, you see the animations and colors. So we always know, the user always knows where inside the view he or she is. Of course, there could be the other level closed now or different colors, but I think that's already pretty close to a nice accordion view. Alright, so if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel below and also check out the ionicacademy.com, the place where this quick win and many more quick wins appear. Also, we use just some basic information in here, so you can plug in, of course, your own backend, or also you could implement it like an infinite list. This is just a bit more tricky. We have done it now for 3 levels. But there would be no problem to change this with some more ng4s and some logic, so you can have it dynamic for whatever. Alright, so I think I'll see you inside the next video. Have a great day and take care.